Okay, so I want to show off my new Cuisinart Juicer. It's CJS-300 is the model. It was $160 I think on Amazon. I've gone through several different juicers, some centrifugal juicers. A $50 GE is my first one. Did the job, did great. Had a Champion, did even better. And I had a Green Life, did even better still. Then I added a juice press, so I would do the Green Life stage 1, just chew it up, wouldn't actually run it through the strainer. Put it in the press and press it out in these cloths here, and that was kind of a hassle, but it was really good juice. Thought, well, juicer technology's come a long ways. Let's try this one and see what happens. So this is my spinach juice. I have already washed everything. I have a bunch of spinach here. It's easier than the bag stuff, way easier. 1 cucumber, a pear, a green apple, a chunk of ginger, a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric can be hard to find sometimes, but when I have it, I buy it. Parsley, that's curly leaf parsley, but it doesn't really matter. And 4 stalks of celery. I also have 3 carrot sticks. I go 2 to 3 depending on size. The recipe actually calls for mango, I think, a slice of mango. Sometimes it's hard to find, so I substitute carrots in. So let's see what happens, how it works. I do cut things up a little bit so that they don't jam up. Celery I like to cut in thirds just because it can get kind of stringy. So we'll throw a piece of that in there and see what happens. Gotta remember to open the discharge chute for the pulp and the discharge chute for the juice. And that's kind of stuck a little bit there, so we'll help it along. We'll cut up a little bit of carrot. The carrots are real thick. I'll cut them in halves, thirds, quarters at the top. It can take a lot more, but this seems to be quite efficient and it just takes a second to cut. Less worry if it does jam up. I don't have as big of a mess to clear. Throw a little bit of ginger in there. And I found with these type of juicers, it's usually best to kind of alternate, add some leafy stuff, then add some of the other stuff in. So we'll add some parsley here. Carrot, kind of push that in a little bit. Take it down really well. The chute does open up so you can put a whole apple in there if you wanted to. Instead, I found it to be quite effective to just cut things up small enough to fit in the chute, and it'll draw them in usually and run them right through. You just took that pear in without any help. Add some more parsley there. I really like how it does leafy greens. It just pulls them right down in there. Pulled that pear into it, grinding it up, crunching. The pulp coming out is, that's a pear, which is one of the hardest things to get the juice out dry, and it's pretty dry. Not as dry as I can get it in the press, but it's a pretty close second. You just took that whole fistful of parsley, no problem. I haven't actually timed how long it takes to make a juice in one of these yet, so I guess I'll look at the video and see when it starts, when it stops, and get an idea of how long it takes. Now there's a couple pieces of carrots in there, and it's really bogging it down. If I had to make a complaint, I'd say this thing is a little bit underpowered. However, it does have a reverse on it if you jam it up, so hopefully we won't do that tonight. Throw a little more parsley in there and pull that out. Carrot just a bit smaller so it doesn't do that again. pear, since I turned it backwards, is kind of not wanting to grab now. Push it in. My cucumber didn't grab. A bit long. The plastic's all dishwasher safe. I'll disassemble it and wash it here in a minute, so you can see that if you're interested. And there, I want to put 2 pieces of carrot in there again. Didn't learn my lesson yet. They cut them smaller, and it's not having near the trouble as it did last time. This one. I don't know how well you can see the stuff coming out. But you can see I'm not actually using the pusher very much at all. You can fill this chute right up and it'll just keep going, but again, I figure if I ever jam it up, it'd be easier to clear it with less in it. The pear got off to the side, so we'll push it over. Most of the time when I do put the pusher in there, it's got a little bevel here. It gets kind of pry it over into the auger, and it'll go just fine. You're kind of rubbing on something in there, but it's all right. That's just about the end of the parsley, so. One of the complaints I've heard with similar model juicers is the celery fibers up and jams things up. I have not found that to be an issue. Instead, I am cutting it up into smaller pieces, so maybe that's why I'm not having the trouble other people are. And I do alternate my stuff. I don't just stick all the celery in at once. I mix it up with other things. I do use a whole bundle of parsley and a whole bundle of spinach with this juice. Just pull that spinach right down, easy peasy. About to put your carrots in it again. Pear. There's the spinach. One thing I like about it, if you have to stop and empty a container, you just close the door and it'll stop feeding out. Which we'll do here in a minute for juice. We can pull a little bit more. With my old juicers, whenever the juice side got full, you had to turn it off and let it try to finish dripping, and it takes a couple minutes, and even then you end up with juice all over the counter. So this one does seem like it produces less mess. I might have fed a little bit more in there than I needed to, but it'll grab. There it goes. Seems like a lot of juicers are good for either one vegetable or another, but not very good for a mix that we use in juicing. But this one doesn't seem to struggle with anything. It does a fine job of the hard stuff, fine job of the soft stuff, fine job of leafy greens. not fast. Centrifugal juicers are much faster, I'll say that for them. I like to hold back a little bit of cucumber and a little bit of apple or pear or something to end with, to kind of wash down any leafy greens or celery pieces that might be stuck in there. Now, I juice the celery leaves and all on. I don't discriminate. It does take just a little patience, just a little getting used to. Get one of those big, expensive centrifugal juicers. Breville, I think, what's it called, from the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Those things are fast. You put a whole apple in there, but you do get quite a bit of waste too. The guy who developed the movie actually developed a juicer that's similar to this, but it's almost $500. I don't know about you, but I didn't have $500 to spend on the juicer, especially when I already have 2 slow juicers and a Jack LaLanne centrifugal juicer. All the last little bits. Oh, see, I'm overflowing here. Not paying attention. I caught that just in the nick of time. Well, I spilled some. I caught that a little sooner. Alright, oops. Knocked the camera around now. Alright, now we'll open that spillway back up. Let the juice catch up that is made. Nope, there, grab it. So that's it, it'll drip for a minute, and I'm going to get the stuff out and do a separate video on the kale juice and cleanup.